Hey guys, how's it going? Just wanted to make a quick video just on a little bit of presentation points from someone who's been there and someone who's actually gone through the cases. As much as Dale sat and talked to you about presentation, I always feel like some additional notes are necessary, and of course she's hard to listen to for a long period of time. So just wanted to add a little bit more to what you already know in this last week of practice here, because it's coming crunch time, guys, and this is it. So just starting from the top, before you actually go into the room, it's really important that you're thinking, your head's in the right place, and that you're using some visualization techniques. I know in the past a lot of people, including myself, visualize going into that case room, attacking the case, coming out with a presentation, and actually all the way to gala night, visualizing yourself accepting that award and winning first place. And that can really get you in the mindset and into the right confidence zone in order to go in and kill everything that you got to do. First and foremost though, guys, before you get into the room, when you're in resolution, when you're waking up in that morning, when you're eating breakfast, make sure you're thinking to yourself about how you can have a differentiation plan. Us at UVic, we've been telling it to you guys this whole time, is differentiating yourself is extremely important. And that comes down to all the little things. Like we've been telling you, make sure you know what you're wearing. Discuss before you even come to Vancouver here what you're wearing. Guys, make sure you have same color suits. So if you're wearing black suits, make sure you all have black. Same color shirts, same color ties. All of that looks extremely professional, extremely well done. That being said, ladies, if you're on a team with guys, make sure you have something that matches the color of their tie, or you've got a shirt, similar idea, so that all of that looks uniform, all of that makes you stand out, and all of that makes you memorable. Also, when you're doing things in your case room, you're coming up with solutions, don't be afraid to take some risks and step outside the box a little bit. Again, we're all about differentiation at UVic, and we don't want you to be robots that takes information and then spits it out in a very robotic way, in a very mechanic way. We want you to show your personalities. We want you to show real world examples. Draw from your education, draw from articles that you've read, draw from experiences that you've had with brands or with the community or whatever that you can draw into it, and don't be afraid to use those, guys. I mean, the judges are real people too, and they can relate to certain things, and when you research your judges, you might want to keep those relevant examples or things that might appeal to them in mind. Also, before you go into the case room, make sure you guys know your role. There's nothing like wasting time in a case room by figuring out who's doing what. Go in there with a plan of attack. Who's going to be the fastest reader? Who's going to start the PowerPoint slides? Who's going to get down and start making Excel files? Who's going to start taking notes? How are you guys going to attack? And what role are each of the three of you going to play? Know that going into the room, guys. It's really important, so you don't waste time and fumble around and butt heads. Also, guys, we've been saying it over and over again, and I know it seems excessive, but know the scorecard. A really good time to do this would be on the ferry over to Vancouver, guys, on Thursday night. Sit down with your team and go through the scorecard and make sure in your cases, look back on what you've done, make sure you're covering everything that they're going to be grading you on. Again, the judges are ticking boxes. If you don't have anything on that scorecard, you're going to get a huge hole in your presentation. So make sure you know what they're grading you on. Everything from theme, problem identification, risk mitigation, recommendations, all of that needs to be in there and fed to the judges. Now, of course, before you go in as well, buzzwords and quotes. Two things that are really easy to know and really easy to implement in every single presentation, because many cases have similar themes and similar structures to them, that you can use these things in order to sound more professional, grab some extra marks, and come across as being a better team. So getting into that, just for example, we've been telling you to learn some quotes, maybe look some up, but I don't think we've actually given you any, so I wanted to give you three of my favorites that really apply to most case situations. So one, Albert Einstein quote, "In the midst of difficulty lies opportunity." A lot of this is really applicable, guys. A lot of the times people come to you in the case in order to get out of a problem or get out of a difficult situation. So in the midst of difficulty lies opportunity. Another good quote is, "Remember, the greatest failure is to not try." So that's another thing. If you're suggesting something that's on the risky side, remembering that not trying isn't as good of an option as taking this risk. So that can kind of apply if you're trying something outside the box. Remember, the greatest failure is to not try. And that quote's by Debbie Fields. And the last one that I really like, and this is personally my favorite, it's a Ralph Waldo Emerson quote. It says, "Do not follow where the path may lead, but go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." Again, that's if you're suggesting something that's completely different than what their company's doing, drop that. Ralph Waldo Emerson, people know him. It's a famous quote, and it actually has relevance. It's saying we're giving you this path that's not taken and jumping you away from your competitors and blazing a trail in a new direction with innovation. And people really like that, and it can tie into presentations. Other words like buzzwords we like you to know and have in your head, things like blue ocean strategy, community hub, ergonomic, anytime you can use a word like that in there. Two-way communication, so social media, for example, allows you to open up the floodgates and two-way communicate with your consumers and with your stakeholders. And words like differentiation and innovation. All of those buzzwords are good to have and good to use in your presentation just to kind of put your presentation over the top. So now you've gone through resolution, you know your buzzwords, you know your quotes, you've gotten your presentation down, and you're going into the case room in front of the judges. Just a little bit of the basics, just really fast. I know we've told you this before, but first and foremost, control the room. So if there's something in your way, if there's a chair set up that needs to be moved, make sure everything is in place and everything is where you want it to be before you start your presentation. No point in starting in an uncomfortable setting, so control the room. Before you start, ask the judges if they can see everything, if everything's okay. Don't jump into it if someone's blocking a projector or if something's wrong. So control that room, guys. It's a huge thing to help you, help your confidence, and help the judges. Always remember, guys, next step, shake hands. Walk into the room, shake the judges' hands, do your presentation, finish up, and then leave the room. Shake the judges' hands. Do it twice, guys. Always shake the judges' hands twice. It's just another step that if you don't shake their hands, they're going to be sitting there kind of confused and leave a sour taste in their mouth. So always shake their hands twice. Again, we've told you this before. Don't use your last names and don't use your cities. If you're going to use an example of a company, don't say this company is from Victoria, BC. Never say UVic and never say your last names. Otherwise, it's an automatic disqualification. Sort of with the flow, you guys know this by now, but I always like to tell people what you're basically doing is you're previewing what you're going to talk about, you hint at your recommendation, then you tell them what you're going to talk about, and then you recap. So preview, tell them, recap, and that way they're hearing it 3 possible times and really getting a clear idea in their head of what you're recommending, what you're saying to them, and why. And if you tell them that 3 times by hinting, telling them, and recapping, they can't have any confusion of actually which direction you're going. So it's really nice to keep that in mind, that your preview, tell them, recap. 3 things there, guys. Role playing is another one. We've talked about it a lot. Just kind of get in your head. Who are you? Are you consultants? If you come in, who are the judges? Are they the person? Are they the CEO of this business? Are they the executive board? Who are they? And get into those roles, guys. Make sure everyone on the team is using the words you, your company. We've come here to help you. We've got an idea to help you. And not one person saying we, because that's not what you are. Unless the case specifies that you're from that company, you are consultants. You are an outside party, and you're coming up with ideas for them, for you, for that business. Get in that role and start role playing. And of course, guys, I didn't see a lot of this happening, and I personally feel responsible for not coming forward beforehand, but have some hook, guys. The quotes are a good hook, but come out with a bang. Use that strong speaker, the strongest speaker in your group, to come out and hit these judges with a bang. Hook them right away and have them keying on every single word. Have a story. It can be a personal story. It can be an allegorical story. It can be something that relates, or an anecdote. And those quotes, if you don't have a story, have it put in a quote. But all of that kind of stuff can hook them, and it's different, guys. Remember, differentiation. Hook them, guys. They've heard so many cases all throughout the day. They want to see something new and has spice. And so if you can come up with a relevant story, even something simple like a childhood story that ties into the overall theme of what you're recommending, is really good. So get creative, guys, and start thinking about different hooks you can start your presentation with, and any presentation for that matter that would be relevant, because that's kind of stuff you can have prepared beforehand. I'll try to be fast here, moving along, guys. Use numbers, marketing, HR, cases that don't seem to have numbers, make up a budget, forecast for them, guys. Use your head, decide how much a Twitter campaign is going to cost, how much online advertising is going to cost. Utilize those budgets because numbers are concrete, and it shows that you've thought about it. It shows that there's going to be progress. It shows that you're projecting financial improvement in the next whatever quarter. So go ahead and use numbers. Please, please, please put numbers on your slide no matter what your case is. Utilizing the theme, we've told you, beyond profits. Say it to them, feed it to them. They have that rubric on them. So if you say we want to go beyond and look at people and planet and whatever, but you don't actually say beyond profits, they might not understand it. They might not say it. So just feed it to them. It's cheesy, but feed it. We told you about the question, hand behind the back trick, so you guys know that to look professional. No more than 2 answers per question. And the switch out trick, we didn't teach you. Dale touched on it, but if you're stalling for time, if you need to try to make that 2-minute mark, and one person is speaking but they're running out of things to speak about, instead of looking back all awkwardly like someone want to fill in here, guys, we have a switch out trick that we use. Again, put your hands behind the back, so like this, and if you're struggling while you're speaking, hands behind your back, do this motion. Something that indicates to your teammates who are going to be behind you that they need to fill in, step in, and switch out. And it looks way more professional than pausing, looking back awkwardly and nervous. And it keeps the momentum of your presentation rolling. And sooner or later, you're going to hit that 2-minute mark. Again, just a little bit on the advanced side of things. When you're talking, utilize the pause. Pauses can be extremely effective. Leaves people hanging on your important sentences, as well as emphasizes certain points if you say something and then let it kind of linger in a room. But pausing also can help you collect your thoughts and decide where you want to go next. Always smile even if you're not speaking. Pay attention to what your teammate's doing. Don't zone out if you're not speaking. Look at the judges and smile and nod and say, if you have your partner speaking, you want to nod and back them up, saying, this is the best thing ever. We agree with this as a team and not just as one person speaking. Smile and nod in the background, guys. Be passionate. Have fun with your recommendation. And when you're speaking and presenting it to it, it's yours. It's your baby. Be passionate about it and show them with your passion, or with your passion, that this is what they need to do. We're on board. Get them on board as well. Use that passion, guys. It's really, really important to do that. And as I was saying, be engaging, but also emphasize these points. Like if you come back at the end of your presentation and really, really emphasize, look at the judges and say to them, if there's one thing I want you to take away from this presentation, it's this. Doing that at the end can be so important so that they kind of think, key in, and when they're going back through your marking sheet, they remember what that last thing you said. You can also say that at the beginning. We had one team say at the very beginning of their presentation last year, say, guys, note this right now, mark this down, or whatever they said, is one thing we want you to take away from this presentation is 50-50. That was the first thing they said. So the whole time the judge write that down right at the top of their sheet, and they use that theme of 50-50 all throughout. And so the judges, when they look back, they're going to remember them as the 50-50 guys, just because they emphasize that point. So another group has done that with elbow grease by saying, we want you to remember this. We are giving you the elbow grease. And they utilized elbow grease all through their presentation. Just as being engaging, just as connecting, and it emphasizes your point and makes you stand out a little bit more. Last thing, guys, backup slides. If you have time, if you know judges are going to ask you a question, throw up a backup slide, and then in the question period, you can go to it at the end. It looks amazing. I know some of you will run out of time and won't have time to do this, but it is a really, really cool trick that if you put in a graph or you put in something of your competitors and they ask a question about it, you go to that like you were prepared and knew they were going to ask it. It's huge. All I have to say to end on it, guys, is move around, be confident, use pauses, connect with those judges because they're seeing a lot. And I guarantee you on Sunday night, we are going to be going home with some gold, guys. So have fun with this last few weeks. Work hard and dig deep. This is it, guys. This is it. We are here and we are doing this. And I hope some of these tips will help you out in your final preparation. Take care.